Squeeze this muscle as much as you can. Good. But guess what? And now I can't do anything. So I'm going to have her lay on her back. You want to lay on your back real fast? Sorry, guys. All right, so I'm going to have her lay on her back, right? Now, real fast, I'm going to have her bend her knee. Now, right now, I physically, personally know that her leg isn't straight. She knows that too. But why? Because her anatomy right now, this muscle, the physiology of it, is not tight. Right? In order for this knee to be straight, she's got to squeeze this muscle. So I kind of give her a little push right here, and go ahead and squeeze that muscle right now. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Squeeze it all the way. Push, push, push. So now I know she's squeezing that muscle. So she has to understand how to get that muscle up, right? Now I also do this one real fast. I'll do it this way so you guys can see as well. Okay? So what I do here, go ahead and bend your knee real fast, and then push, right? So now I know. This is actually for a cradle drill. I do this for cradles a lot. Okay? So I do this, right? So bend. So now I know she's not pushing it, right? So what happens is a lot of times when people cradle, they bend and they collapse, right? So lock your legs, boom. So now I say, hey, squeeze that muscle no matter what. Squeeze that muscle, ready? 1, 2. So now I drag her, right? So now she understands the physics of it. Remember, what does physics do, right? There's an energy going through our body. It has to go somewhere. It can't go through the ground because the ground is too hard. So where does it go? It goes up, right? And that's how you get your cradles higher. Okay, so ready? 1, bend your knees, 1, 2, boom. This will happen, right? So again, go ahead and squeeze this muscle as tight as you can. Squeeze this muscle, ready? 1, 2. So now I know her knees are locked. Good, check, thank you. So if you really focus on that muscle right there, it's gonna teach them. Now, of course, as they get higher, they're gonna get scared and they're gonna want to do that. But if I were you, my advice would be to probably do it on the way up. Like start with the lower level and really focus on getting her to understand how to squeeze this group of muscles, okay? So those are the extensions, right? So I want to work quickly real fast on some single leg skills, okay, on how to get you ready to single legs. Because what happens is a lot of times you get to single legs and crash, right? But again, I also teach how to fall from single leg stunts, right? It's very important that we start at the thigh level, how to work your way on the way up. Okay, we did the single leg knee stand already. It's the same for the single leg thigh stand, right? Same concept. Right? But a lot of times, here's a big thing that I use for my flyers. Come here real fast. So, I always tell, if I have a brand new flyer, they always like, well, how do I get confused? Because then what happens is they lift, they bring their hips out, they do all this crazy stuff. They don't know how to stand on the single leg. So we have to teach them. And I'm a firm believer. Remember I told you guys, I'm a firm believer. To me, grips don't matter unless it involves twisting, right? But I'm also a firm believer that a flyer doesn't know what she's doing. So, until you explain it. So, here we go. For my single legs, I tell flyers, do me a favor, stick your butt back. Now stick your butt forward. Stick your butt back. Now stick your butt forward. Now from here, all I want you to do is just lift your leg up. Cool, now hold on. Now what I like to do, bring out that fancy dandy cell phone, and I say, hey, do me a favor, don't break my phone or you owe me a new phone, right? Because then what happens is they bring their leg down, slide down a little bit, and then they slide it down and then it falls, right? So it teaches them. You want to give them something to balance on, right? So, and then again, so she understands her hips are straight. Now what I have her do is go and do it on the other side. Don't forget your hip. Okay, go and bring it forward just a little bit, and then bring that foot up. Boom. So that's the balance right there, okay? Because a lot of times if you don't, go ahead and come down. If you don't explain that to them, then they're just going to go and get up there and they're just going to say, So now, again, remember that pencil drill that I did earlier? I do it on a single leg also, so they understand how to squeeze their hips. So go ahead and bring your foot up. Good. Now keep your body there no matter what I do. Squeeze it tight. Good. So she's understanding. If she did this wrong, go and let your hip loose. She would do this, right? No, go ahead and squeeze that hip up. There you go. Good. So I stay really tight. So now she knows that if I'm falling to the side, I also know how to stay really, really tight, right? I also know how to stay. Excuse me. I also know how to stay really, really tight. I also know how to stay really tight. So I do it on both legs. All right, I do it on both legs. Why? Because I train my flyers to stand on both legs. Because guess what? What's also legal on level 2?
Switch
stops, right? Non-release, right? But so we should get them to start doing that, right? Okay. So she's understood. She understands how to hold her body, how to squeeze her body now. Again, starting on the ground. It's safer right here. Why would I throw her up in the air and be like, hey, just try it, right? It's safer on the ground. These drills work. My goal, again, safety and stunt technique. And stunt progression. All right, so we're going to go ahead and come in. They feel good. They're like, hey, we've done this. So we already did the thigh stand. We did the single leg. I actually also do the waist level, okay? So go and load her real fast. They're going to stop at the waist level. She's going to do a lift. Now, back spots. You can do 2 ways, okay? You can go ahead and grab the ankle and underneath the seat, or you can grab just the waist, right? Just grab the waist like that. I personally like underneath the ankle and underneath the seat, right? Now, a lot of times, go ahead and put her right here. Do it again. So a lot of times you'll see putting their hand like on their go ahead, release. Sorry, watch this. So go and scoot up. A lot of times you'll see, put your foot up, the athlete grab right here. This is not gonna do anything. If I put it right here, guess what? I never have to let go. It's already where I want it, right? Even from here or here, it's already where I want it, right? Instead of pushing it, letting go and grab it. Okay? So go ahead and load in one more time.
Okay, go.
Yeah, go where you were. Go where you were. Ready? And 1, 2, we're waist level, waist level, waist level. Good. So again, let's teach her out. She's good, she feels confident, have her fall. Ready? 1, 2, and with back spots, bases grab. Yep. So again, right, we're teaching how to fall. Okay? If I were you guys, my advice, have one practice on just falling. Okay? On just falling. Safely. Okay? Safely. Okay? So from here, okay? What I have her do on one side, I have her do on the other side. So go and do your left leg. Now that does change the base's grips a little bit. Remember, again, grips can be different ways. There are various ways that we can do some grips, right? They're doing the traditional way. Ready? And 1, 2. She's gonna go up, boom, just like so, okay? And go and come down. Good, okay? So, you're like, what kind of grips are there? Well, like I said, you can grab, put your foot in real fast. I can have her base grab here, and I can have her grab thigh. I can have her do this. I can also have one hand on here, and then one hand there, and one hand there. Okay, there's different grips that you can do, right? Yes. My preference? It depends on what I'm doing.
So if you do it as a lift, you're going into a lift.
If I'm doing just a regular lift, then I'm going to go ahead and do the grips that they were doing just like that. And I say it depends on what I'm doing. Why? Because eventually you can twist it up, right? Eventually you can do a tick once you're up there. So the grips change. But again, it only changes really if you're going to involve twisting. That's why it depends. Okay. Yes, so my preferred grip for the back spot would be hand underneath the thigh, just like so, and then also grabbing that ankle, just like so, okay?
There's a lot of debate with my team about this.
No, that's okay, I love that, I love that. She says there's a lot of debate with her team. Yes, I can have her turn to the side. Do it real fast. Here we go, ready? Do that same thing right there, just like so. So I have them doing this grip, she's grabbing underneath, and she's grabbing the shin, right? Okay, and she's underneath this, and she's grabbing underneath the thigh. Can you guys go do it over there as well, please, just in case? Thank you. No, while they do that, and they're getting that video. No, yes, there are a lot of, no, go scoot down more that way, so they can see you over there. Yeah, and turn to the side, okay? Turn to their side. Okay, they can't see that. No, face them. Oh my God, everybody up with Okay, so good. So those are those grips, okay? Now, come on back. So, you know, again, like I said, the twisting does change a lot of things, okay? Because once you're up in a stunt, right, you technically can't switch a base into a back spot in certain aspects, right? So it does get a lot more creative, and it can. But again, my goal right here is just the progression on how to get to these skills, okay? So, how do you guys feel on those single legs? Once you feel confident about that, she takes it up to that prep level. Go ahead and take it to a prep level lift. Ready? And 5. And 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, all the way up. Hold. Okay? Notice the back spot never had to move her hands because of where she was, right? And that's that one little extra step. If she had to move her hand if she was here, then that stunt might be coming down for flyers inexperienced, right? Bases are holding that nice prep position, and then this base right here is holding at the shin to help also stabilize it. Go ahead and bump down. Ready? 1, 2. Just bring it all the way down. Cool. Right? So, and then she went back to that floating position because she knows that floating position because we trained her to do that a little bit earlier. Cool. Any questions on that? No? I love it. You guys are amazing. Okay. So that's essentially your level 2 preps, your extension 2-legged stunts. Okay. So I'm going to talk about a couple disciplines real fast. Okay. A cradle. Okay. Very essential, right? So level 1 we could do what kind of cradles? Quarter turn cradles, right? Now I don't teach a quarter turn cradle unless their cradle looks really good. Okay. And then also level 2, what kind of dismounts can we do? Single tricks, right? A toe touch, a pike, a kick, a quarter turn from prep level or extended level? Extended level, right? But you can do it from both prep or extended, right? All right, so here we go. For a cradle, how do we start on a cradle? The best part is that we've already taught our flyer how to fall, right? We've taught our flyer how to fall, so now the bases kind of have an understanding of, okay, cool. So just, they're always gonna be like, I can't do a cradle, I can't do a cradle. So you refer it, hey, you already know how the flyer's gonna fall. It's just a fall with releasing her legs, right? If you think about it, a cradle is really a fall with them releasing her legs. With a little bit of momentum and power, you know, but that's okay. So, remember, the first thing that I like to do, because what happens is, how many of you guys see, can you do me a favor? Can you do a, alright, going up. So what happens is, this is how I see the first cradle. If I tell the flyer to do a cradle, she's most likely going to sit down. Ready? 1, 2. She's most likely going to, like that. That's even prettier than I see some people do the first cradle. Okay? Right? So what happens is, I always see flyers just kind of bring their hips up and they just sit down. So they look like they're sitting down, right? Because that's what they think, right? So what drill do I use? Remember that pencil drill that we were doing earlier? So what I like to do is I say, hey, put your hands on a high knee real fast. And then what I want you to do is you're going to fall back on one and slap your hands on your side. Ready? 5, 6, 7, 8, 1. Hold. So now she's learning her hips are also got to stay in. She's got to stay in one line. You got to stay like a pencil that whole time. Ready? And arms up. And 5, 6, 7, 8, go. Hold. Good. So now she understands, okay, my hips got to be in line. Everything's got to be in line. Now, when I tell the bases, of course, bases, make sure that you understand for a cradle, one arm, your front arm has to be on the legs. Your back arm has to be on the back. I also say create a basketball hoop, right? A basketball hoop with your arms. Her butt, her tushy, or whatever you want to call it, that is the ball, and your arms are creating the hoop, right? Don't fight about, oh, well, what if I do legs? One hand, just remember, one hand on this, one hand on this. And my back's ball, well, what do? There's different variations of cradles, right? Some people put their hands here, some people hook. When I first teach a cradle, I try to avoid this because what happens is the back spot is really experienced on doing this. After they feel good and confident in this, then I start teaching them from here because then the back spot changes what they have to do, okay? So, go ahead and go to a prep. And 1, 2. And go up just like that. Perfect. Okay, now from here is their cradle position. So I'm going to have to do a cradle for the first time, right? She's going to go ahead and, what I told her to do, hey, remember the drill we just did? All you're going to do is they're going to give you a pop, straight up and down, and you're going to do that lean back just like we just did, okay? And 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 3, 4, 5. So she understood her body had to stay tight the entire time. She used her core the entire time for that cradle, right? So now, you're probably going to, again, the first couple times, it's not going to look that pretty, but once they start feeling good, they start feeling confident, they start feeling comfortable with all that, then they're going to feel ready for that awesome cradle. Yes?
Question. So when they're catching in cradle, I noticed.
Not back at a prep level, okay? Holding it at a prep. Like bring it down. Yeah, bring it down like you're holding it. So what I want them to do is right now they're just going to use their arms. They're not even going to use their legs. Ready? 1, 2. Take her up. Just don't use your legs. And back down. And 1, 2, up. It's hard, right? And come down, right? So now, remember that drill we did earlier? That bounce drill? So we're going to go down. 5, 6, 7, 8. Legs. Hold. And then 5, 6, 7, 8. Up. But see, it's hard because I haven't stopped. But now I'm going to have to do legs up. Here we go. Ready? You guys are going to go all the way down. Ready? 5, 6, 7, 8. Legs up. And back to prep. 1, 2. And again, 5, 6, 7, 8. Legs up. And back down. Cool. Come on down. Right? Now, they're getting stronger, they're feeling more comfortable, they're feeling more confident, and it's safer. Why? Because there is no rocking back and forth. The flyer now feels a lot better. Hello, Katie. So the flyer's feeling a lot better, the bases are feeling more confident. We all know how to fall, right? We've taught how to fall from the very 5-stand level, so they all know how to fall backwards and whatnot, right? So from here, she feels good, but I want the flyer to feel that feeling with an upright position. So now I'm going to do a V-sit, okay? Now I'm going to do a V-sit. I'm going to have her do a V-sit. Why? Because she's still in that long vertical position, or long horizontal position, but she now is upright. Her body is upright, so now the flyer feels that momentum of what it feels like to go upward. So here we go. Ready? And 5. Go ahead and go to a straddle sit or a teddy bear sit. Ready? And 1, 2. Now we're going to do the same thing. Don't worry about the stopping at the bottom, but just go legs up. Here we go. And 5, 6, 7, 8. Legs up. Good. And back down to prep. 1, 2. Good. And come on down. Right. So again, that's the drill. Now they learn how to use their legs, right? Now, one thing that I'm going to tell them, I heard her say, ooh, right? Girl. Anyways, no. So I heard them say the. Okay, I heard them say that, or I heard them be like, ooh, right? So here's what I want though. You have to, remember that whole floating thing, that whole little extra power, right? Speed equals power. Speed equals power. Our sport is all about physics, right? Our sport is all about physics, right? So if you give it a little more power, it's going to become easier, right? That energy has to transfer to something, right? So it kind of makes her float. If you go fast, like give her a little bit of jolt, it makes her float, and then you walk your elbows, right? So speed equals power. Always remember that. So they're confident. They've done this drill a lot of times already. I've already, we're in the season. I'm like, okay, cool. You guys did great. That looks really good. Do you guys think you're ready to go to that extension? And one of them might tell me no. She might be like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm like, okay, fine. You're not ready? Then you're off the team. Because I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I don't ever kick anybody off my teams. No. So, and then what happens is I have mom coming at me later and yelling at me because so she's like, I'm not ready. Okay, cool. So guess what? She's not ready. I personally would probably talk to her. Never talk to your athletes in front of other athletes, especially if they're scared or nervous. Why? Because then, I hate to say this out loud, but I work with thousands and thousands and thousands of cheerleaders at, teenage age, middle school age, younger age, and bullying is a big thing, right? So I always try to bring athletes to the side. If there's something I want to talk to them about, I always talk to them personally about it, because the last thing that I want is her peers to see it, and then all of a sudden their peers are like the ones making fun of her. Hey, you're the one that mom, we can't do it because of you. We can't keep going up because you're scared. Like, it happens, right? I'm being serious, and I'm trying to make your life easier, and I this day and age, kids, I hate to say it, a lot of them are very disrespectful. So I try to teach them how to, from the very beginning, and I don't let it slide, all right? So, that being said, okay, so she's like, hey, and I've talked to her personally already, and I'm like, hey, you might be a little terrified, you already know how to fall, and she's like, well, and she might tell me, and so again, the falling is key. The reason why they're scared is because they're scared of the fall, right? That's why everybody's scared, right? If we knew that we could be safe, and we knew that we were gonna fall and get hurt, you could do whatever you want. Magic, everything could happen, right? But we know that falling can happen, so that's why I train it from the beginning. All right, so here we go. So she feels confident. Remember, let's go for that. And again, you got to teach them how to get up and how to come down, right? So you're going to go all the way to the top. Here we go. Let's go to load in to the prep level. Ready? 1, 2. And so we're going to go legs up. Ready? And 5, 6, 7, 8. Legs up. Good, right? So now they feel good, right? And again, remember we talked about that falling, right? I always try to teach it from here, but by this point, they should already know how to fall. So let's just go and bump down, ready? Or you're gonna go back to the floating position. Floating position, ready? 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, and float. Hold yourself up. And come on out, right? So now everybody understands exactly. The flyers feel confident, the bases feel confident. They know, okay, we've already practiced falling from the bi level. I know how to make her safe, and I know how to make her feel safe. Good? Are we good with that? So those are my drills that I like to teach for extension, for single leg stunts, not single leg stunts yet. Okay, extensions, preps, 2 feet stunts. Feel good? Feel confident? Any questions on a 2-legged stunt? How to get to, okay, and again, remember, this focus was on level 1, level 2, 1 and 2. So now I'm gonna ask Perla, I'm gonna ask them to do a bump down or back to the floating position without me holding on. Again, this is training, this isn't competition. I let go, it's illegal, you don't let go, okay? So, real fast. So I'm gonna have her do a bump down, and I'm actually gonna have her drop her butt just a little bit, right? Backwards for you, ready? 1, 2. So this is what happens, and then boom. That's what happens. So I actually train my athletes again without a back spot, but the back spot's still standing there. So that way they learn, okay, well, I shouldn't do that. So now I know that she's leaning back with her butt. Now I know she's leaning back, right? So go ahead and load in, ready? 1, 2, one more time. And 5. We're gonna have her do it again, but this time she's gonna go in without me. So I'm gonna tell her, hey Perla, you can't lean back, just focus on them two, just you and them. I'm just a spotter, I'm here in case you fall back. Here we go. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 3, and hold. So now I know she's just using them. So now, guess what happens? Go ahead, come down, sorry. So now what happens is, now I'm training the bases, or training her to go straight down, but at the same time, now as a back spotter, I'm not pushing her forward. My energy is on lifting her up, because I know she's using that vertical playing field. And with that fall, now at this level, I like to introduce, as she's falling, my bases are gonna let go of that one foot, and then grab with this one as well. So you're gonna, as she's falling, you're gonna grab this. Okay, good. And again, we practice this. Ready? 1, 2. And you're going to bounce 3 times. 5, 6, 7. Going 1, 2, 3, and stand. Now from here, you're going to go ahead and fall back, and my bases are going to let go of this one so they can start carrying the weight and try to grab her back. Ready? 1, 2, and grab. Good. So now it's teaching the bases, hey, we're letting go. Go ahead and come down. We're letting go, right? So again, teaching how to fall, right? So we did the bounce drill. Now it's time to actually build. We did the bounce drill and we did the prep at the waist level. So now it's time to build, right? So here we go. Ready? Now you guys are going to build to the prep. So flyer, Perla, what I want you to do is you see how you just stood up just like that? I want you to go ahead and stand up and be fast when you stand and be quick. My basis, speed equals power. Right? I want you to remember that. The slower you go, the harder it's going to be. So when you guys do that third dip, and fast, kind of make her float a little bit more, like give her a little toss, and then catch it on the way up. When I say toss and catch it, I'm not talking about a release move. I don't want her to actually let go of their feet. I just want them to float. So it's a float and then they catch. Okay? So from here, they're going to go ahead and hold. She's going to do the same thing. Now, of course, we got to talk about the back squat, right? Back squat's like this. Doesn't know what she's doing either, right? So I have to make sure I have her understand, hey, what I want you to do, there's a few things, okay? I don't know how you guys do it. Again, for me, there is no right or wrong thing about grips unless it involves twisting. I'll tell you that again, right? So back squat can either grab the ankles or grab the seat. How many of you teach to grab the ankles? Okay, how many of you teach to grab the seat? Okay, good. There is no right or wrong way, but I'm going to tell you right now, I dislike holding onto the seat. I try to teach as much as possible holding onto the ankles. Why, Ruben? Well, I'm glad you asked, Veronica. Okay, so the way you're going to do this is because when I grab the ankles, right, then now I have a lot more power from the bottom, and it doesn't teach my flyer to depend on somebody to stand up. If I give my flyer somebody to sit on, she's going to sit on them and do as much as she can. She won't be lazy, okay? And we don't like lazy flyers, all right? So go ahead and go in real fast. She's holding. Remember, hey, don't forget to float, Perla. Remember, you're floating, okay? Now you're going to bounce 3 times. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and stand in front of her. I'm going to stand in front of her, okay? So 5, 6, 7, going 1, 2, 3, and up. And then what happens is, say Perla's scared, she's going to reach for me because she knows I'm here, right? She knows I'm here. I hate spotting in the front. I hate, one more time, louder for the people in the back. I hate spotting in the front. Why? Because then you get used to this. So what I like to do, we're going to come back down to a sponge, 1, 2. We're going to do that again, right? She's grabbing the ankles, so now I know my flyer's not coming down, right? So 5, 6, 7, dip on 1, 2, 3, and up. And then what I'm doing here is I'm on the side, so she knows, hey, I'm here just in case. And then I'm here to push them together if need be, but I don't like going from the front. Now, back squat is always lifting. Back squat's job isn't done. She's got to get as close as possible, and she's going to be lifting, right? Remember that whole thing we talked about falling? Okay, so she's up in the prep. We learned how to do the prep. Go ahead and hit Ivy. Again, now I want her to fall backwards. Again, the bases are going to let go, and then try to catch. Ready? 5, 6, 7, 8, 1. So she knows it's okay to fall. If it happens, it happens, and she knows my bases got me. Go ahead and come on down. All right. Good. How do you feel? You guys feel good? You guys feel safe? You feel ready? Cool. They're killing it, you guys. They're killing it. Okay, so now they just did the preps. They got up there. Now you'll notice one thing, okay? I was talking about it earlier. Did you guys see Perla's feet? They were together in the prep, right? Why do I have them do that? It's harder. It is harder to stabilize yourself, right? But if you teach them how to do that, guess what? When they get to libs and level 2 and all that kind of stuff, it's easier when their feet are already together rather than learning to do this and shift over, do all this. They're already together, okay? So, they got to the prep. Let's see. You guys got to the prep. I'll get to dismounts a little bit later, okay? So I just want to move up on the progressions on how to get up. Any questions on how to build a prep? Anybody? Yeah? Okay, cool. So moving on, right? So what else comes? We did the single leg thigh stand. We did the prep level, which is level 1, right? You can also quarter it up in level 1, right? So talking about a quarter up, right? There's different ways that you can do it, right? But I don't teach a quarter up unless my flyer is ready to do with this prep is solid, right? There's all sorts of crazy ways that you can do quarter ups and stuff like that. I will be doing the level 1 and 2 creative stunting a little bit later, so if you're in that class, I'm going to do some stuffs. Not a lot, but some stuffs, okay? So just to give you guys a little bit of idea and get you guys' minds rolling. So here we go. So she's going to come out here real fast. So let's do Let's do one more prep. Ready? Here we go. Ready? And 5. And go ahead and load in. 1, 2. Remember, don't forget to float. Don't forget to float. And remember, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2. Actually, stop before you do that. I like to tell them, sorry, this is your home position. Okay? This is your floating position. Yeah? You guys got it? Alright, so you're going to go up to the prep. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1. Okay, that looks great. Alright, so remember I told them, right? They have to know how to come down. So here's what's going to happen. I want you to go back to the floating position. You're going to go back to the floating position. She now knows, okay, as soon as my hands touch the shoulder, I got to float. Because if not, it's going to get really heavy on those bases, and they're just going to, right? So we're going to go float down. Ready? 5, 6, 7, 8. You guys go back to the floating position. Hold. And now she's floating. And now they can let go, and she can come down and clean, right? Now the only difference that I do is on the way down, I tell the back spot to grab the seat on the way down. So a lot of kids nowadays, they love social media. They love social media. A lot of them have Snapchat, a lot of them have Instagram.